Doctors of Reddit, what's the biggest case of faking it you've ever seen? 30-year-old woman came to the ED with such excruciating belly pain. Paralyzed. Oh god, it hurts when you press there. Must have oxycodone now. ED doc said if she can get out of the ED bed and do 20 jumping jacks, we can give her the oxy. She did 20 jumping jacks, then got kicked out of the ED. Doctor should get a side gig as a personal trainer. My mom's an nurse and she said once some crazy lady came in and complained she had the whooping cough, and whenever she coughed she followed it with a loud whoop. Quote, she's doing it wrong. That's a coughing whoop. My cousin got glasses. Her 7-year-old little sister also wanted glasses because she thought it was so cool to wear the monsieur. So she started telling her teachers she couldn't read what was on the chalkboard, and she'd squint at home and go incredibly close to the TV to watch things because she said she couldn't see things clearly. Her parents got worried and took her to the doctor. She read everything wrong on the vision test. Everyone seemed convinced that she needed glasses, but the doctor was a little concerned because the tests indicated she needed really thick glasses. And usually that wasn't the case unless there was a family history of vision issues. Her parents both had 20/20 vision and her sister only had astigmatism. They all realized she was faking it. So the doctor told her parents in front of her that she'd need some pretty intense eye surgery so she'd be able to see without glasses. They even wheeled in a machine to make it convincing to say they could do the surgery right then and there. She freaked out, confessed to faking it all and started to cry. She got grounded for a while. I remember I faked it when my brother got glasses because I thought they were cool. Turns out I actually needed glasses. They found an astigmatism in my eyes. Who knew? Greater than turns out I actually needed glasses. They found an astigmatism in my eyes. Who knew? I never knew I needed glasses. I mean, how am I supposed to know what the world looks like to other people? Then I was amazed that I could see every detail of a tree. Edit. Just going to disable inbox replies. I love that you've all had similar experiences, but I'm on the spectrum and I've got to read every single reply that comes into my inbox, which is exhausting. But also, woo, we can all see clearly now. Same. Trees were the first thing I noticed too. I was amazed by the details on them. I'm an ICU and nurse. We get a lot of malingering in the One day, one of our frequent flyers came in and started faking a seizure in triage. Now obviously I know this lady and she's fake seized a million times before. But this time it's in the lobby in front of about 30 people who have no way of knowing that it's fake. She's lolling around on the floor making a damn fool of herself and folks look horrified. I walked up to her and said calmly, "Karen, what are you doing?" Quote. To which this genius responds, "I'm seizing." Quote. I told her to stop seizing. So she did. Edit. No, her name wasn't actually Karen. I just did that for confidentiality. Oh man, would love to have seen the face of all those people watching this unfold. That doctor is a miracle worker. Quote, had a patient when I was an intern feigning blindness. She would constantly be playing on her smartphone, only furiously trying to hide it when someone from the care team came into her room. The best was when my attending one day strolled past her room and threw his hand up in a highly exaggerated hello wave. She started to throw her arm up to caught herself halfway through, then threw her hand back into her lap and pretended to be staring off into nothing. A friend of mine likes to stick out her hand for a handshake when people come in feigning blindness. Nearly all of them instinctively meet her handshake. It's great to watch. Edit. I am very much aware of the different types of visual deficits. Thanks for your concern. I would never have expected pretending to be blind to be such a commonly faked issue. But reading this thread has changed my mind on that issue. When I was a kid, I learned I could fake sick and get out of school. So 1 to 2 days a week I would get a migraine, and hold my head and complain, and I would get to go home. Eventually my parents took me to a neurologist who said, maybe you just don't let him eat chocolate and sugar. I admitted to faking and was grounded for a long time. I grew up the opposite way. I would get 3 to 4 migraines a week. But everyone thought I was faking it because most days I seemed fine. Just because I was learning how to deal with them and try to act normal. It wasn't until 8 years after they started that I went to a neurologist who said I have chronic migraines, which I dealt with unmedicated for 16 years. Now I'm on medication. I feel like my childhood was wasted. Edit. I've replied to a lot of you nice people, but I'm on mobile and it will only load like 200 replies and I can't view anymore to reply on. But I like reading your responses. Much love to you all. A patient claimed to have all kinds of illnesses and would cough every minute or so. Have you tried coughing when you don't need to? It's like a normal cough, but you take the subwoofer away. Now imagine that, but 10 times more fake. I imagine a lot of Reddit just tried out their best fake cough to see if they could get enough bass. I know I did, and now my chest hurts. Went to fake cough, choked on own spit, ended up with a very real cough. Checkmate, doctors. Take the subwoofer away. Damn, it really makes sense when you put it like that. Ophthalmology technician. People pretend to be blind all the time. Go to check their eye pressure with a Tonapen, a device you poke them directly into the eye with, and they go, what the fuck is that thing? When I was a kid, I would plan my sick days WAAAY ahead of time. Had an old thermos that I would pour leftover milk, meat, whatever, leave it on the windowsill in my bedroom, just letting it fester for a month. Of course the thermos was closed so no smells escaped. I set an alarm for the middle of the night, dumped the contents of the thermos on my rug and ran in to tell my dad I was throwing up and so sick. However, this thermos monstrosity filled the entire condo up with horrible smells, and both me and my dad ended up puking into the tub at the same time every time we tried to clean up the rug. He had to take the day off work too. Needless to say, I never pulled that again. I was worried you were going to drink it in order to make yourself sick. Thank goodness that is not what happened. Years ago I had a patient who had been rear-ended in an auto accident a few weeks before I saw her. She had a history of lupus. She was decked out in the usual, I'm crippled paraphernalia. Crutches, neck brace, elbow braces, wrist braces, knee braces, and could barely walk. I saw her a couple of times and she showed no improvement. One Saturday I was on call but had to take a back streets route to the hospital because of an event taking place on the main thoroughfare. I apparently drove throughout her neighborhood, because, wonders behold, there she was wearing old lady spandex power walking down the sidewalk, holding weights in both hands. I did not call out to her. Next week, she was back in clinic with her I'm crippled get up on again. HMM. A few weeks later I got the subpoena for the deposition, and it all became clear. What did you do at that point? We need part 2 of this story. I could not have sworn, under oath, that I had absolutely positively identified the woman power walking. I know it was her. I later confirmed she lived in that area. She and her attorney could have argued that it was her sister or daughter or cousin or whatever. So I just honestly answered all the questions during the deposition. Many I could not answer because I did not see her immediately after the accident. I could, however, honestly say that I thought she had a good prognosis and was likely to recover fully. By the way, it is not unusual for patients seeking compensation through some legal process to exaggerate the degree of their injuries. Everybody involved in the process understands this. It is, however, incumbent upon the patient to maintain their act in a believable fashion. That's frustrating. I truly feel for anyone who has legitimate injuries and support them being able to be compensated. But people like this just suck. No doctor, but a funny story from work a couple years ago. Guy calls in sick for around 8 days. Says on the phone he is really sick. Comes back to work the next week. Tanned as F***CK. This dude hands a medical slip to the manager written in Spanish. On the slip there's an official seal from some random Cuban clinic. Guy walks over to B with a grin on his face saying, "Yeah, I'm probably fired." He was fired. Supervisor at a place I used to work called out sick. Came in the next day with a tan line right across the middle of his forehead from golfing in the sun all day. No one said a damn word. I told them I had to leave town because I had family members coming in last minute. I got written up. I should have taken up golfing. Not a doctor but a nurse once had a patient having a seizure. The other nurse and I knew she was faking it. He said as much. She suddenly stopped seizing. Miraculously. Looked straight at him and yelled, "Shut up, fat boy." He and I laughed so hard. The other nurse, was referred to as such. Fat boy. For a few months after that. At least she wasn't having a seizure. Edit. Spelling and clarification. Tit seizure girl. My mom was an emergency room nurse. Years ago they brought a prisoner from the local pen in who seemed to be unconscious. The guards were suspicious that he was faking it. They checked his vitals and everything seemed to be okay. The attending doctor tried poking him in the foot with something pointy. Nothing. Then he got an idea. They took a rubber hose and inserted it in the back of his throat as if they were intubating. "Hi monsieur, that did the trick." He sat up very quickly, coughing and gagging. Edit. Yes. Sternum rub. Got it. There's an even easier way. Just take their hand, hold it over their face, and drop their hand. If they're truly unconscious, or drunk, or very out of it, etc., they'll smack themselves in the face. If they are conscious, they will always do something to lessen the hit, like make their hand land to the side, or they turn their hand and hit somewhere they think it won't hurt, etc. Edit. Okay, so apparently, you shouldn't do this. Don't do this, guys. Edit 2. SRSLY. Don't do this. It's bad. Works. But some other Redditors have mentioned that you can give them a black eye if you do this too. Carelessly and they're actually unconscious. Thank you for watching.